If it is male, there will be a kind of growth here. Then the absence of a gular fold. If it is male, you see, these modifications will make it male, but they are all absent, and this shows automatically that the specimen should be female Agama lizard, because the follow-up must be give reason for your answer. Okay, and then I think looking at this, also these two flaps. Hi, you're welcome to the easy world of science. Nice having you again. I'll be handling alternative to practical biology, alternative to practical work in biology. This is to prepare you to know how to answer questions on alternative to practical. Remember, in every alternative, you will not be given the specimen. The live specimen will not be there. Rather, you have a drawing, then you just write from the little theoretical experience you have, because it is still theoretical. You are not doing any practical, but you report according to what is obtainable in practical life. So these are the questions. This one will be handling that of the WAEC GCE, the PC2, the private candidate 2002. Let's go through the questions. This is the cover page, and this first page is the page 1. Then this is the page 2. And the page 3, page 5, finally page 7. So we're going through all of them and about to ask your questions. So over here, as usual, the name should be then other information is necessary. We go back to the first page. So question number 1 said, the diagram below is an illustration of an organism. Study it and answer the questions 1A to 1E. Okay. You say identify the organism in the diagram. The organism in the diagram, they did not tell us to identify with reason. We simply say the organism is Agama lizard. You say name the parts labeled I to VI. The part labeled I, as you can see here, should be the eye. I should be the tympanum. And then the I should be the scale. If the arrow is almost double, we say scales, but it's only just one. Then IV should be clawed digit. That's over here. Then V should be the hind limbs. Then VI over here should of course be the tail. Okay. Next one say name the habitats of the organism. Looking at the organism, of course, is the first vertebrate to exhibit complete terrestrial life. So is the habitat should be terrestrial habitat, even though amphibian was the first to venture on land, but the reptiles exhibited complete land life. So the habitat should be terrestrial. Terrestrial habitat. State 3 observable features that adapts the organism to its habitat. They said observable, which means don't say what you cannot see in the drawing. First of all, we can see eye. The eye part is the eye, of course. The eye, presence of eye for sight. Then we also see the scale, presence of scale to prevent desiccation and protection. Presence of scales, protection, and also to prevent desiccation, that's the body from drying up since it's a terrestrial organism. Then presence of tympanium for hearing or for detection of sound waves. There are other features there. You can say presence of the limbs for movement or for leaping or jumping or running. Presence of tail for balancing and also for camouflaging sometimes. The presence of a potential predator. Okay, but they told us to mention 3. So these ones are enough. So we go to the next page. Okay. Continuation. This one says state one behavioral adaptation of the organism. State one behavioral adaptation. So the behavioral adaptation here, we will be focused on not the structural adaptation. The common behavioral adaptation found in the organism should be basking. They stay under the sun to heat up their body. It's common to most reptiles because they are cold, of course, cold-blooded animals. So their body temperature changes as the environmental temperature changes. They say, what is the likely sex of the organism? We will need to go back to check well. Sex of the organism. Okay, this is the organism in question. This should be female Agama lizard. It should be female. Common reasons should be there is absence of nuchal crest. If it is male, there will be a kind of growth here. Then the absence of a gular fold. If it is male, you see, these modifications will make it male, but they are all absent, and this shows automatically that the specimen should be female Agama lizard, because the follow-up must be give reason for your answer. Okay, and then I think looking at this, also these 2 flaps of muzzle here might be talking about but I think that should be bennett at the ventral surface, which is closer to the cloaca. But having showed us this in dotted line is obviously telling us that there is a structure here, bennett, and this pair of scales near the vent looks more like the cloaca, but the cloaca should be somewhere here on as the ventral surface. Remember, this is the dorsal surface. Okay, we go back and continue. So they say, what is the likely sex of the organism? We say it's female. Give 2 reasons for the answer. In 1C, that's why do we say it's a female? I've explained that. You can say absence of nuclear crest, absence of gular fold, I don't know if there is double L in this gular. Okay, absence of gular fold, and presence of pairs of scale at the abdominal side near the vent. Then we might say that is cloaca. Name the class to which the organism belongs. Of course, lizard, the class to which lizard belongs should be Reptilia. It's a reptile, meaning scaly creatures. Give reason for the answer in one day. I just said it now. Presence of the observable one is a presence of scales. At least one reason, because reptiles literally means scaly creatures. Not that everything that have a scale should be a reptile, but one of the features of reptiles is that they are very scaly, and hence their name, Reptilia, meaning scaly creatures. From the observable features there, even there is nothing that you will mention there that will be mainly for reptiles, except if you go internal. Most of those things, they are not the only thing that have eye, tympanium membrane. Other vertebrates possess such. Name 3 other members of the class. Other members of Reptilia, that's other reptiles. We can mention tortoise, crocodile, or turtle, the crocodilians or the testudines, the chelonians. So turtle should be part of it. Then snakes should also be here. Snake or snakes. Then the crocs, the crocodile. So the crocodilian or tortoise, or what we call tortoise. Then we have what is the mode of feeding of the organism? Definitely, since it's an animal, so most lizards have different feeding habitats. Of course, some eat insects, which makes them carnivores or insectivorous. Some they eat varieties, but what matters is that what is common should be heterotrophic organisms. So their mode of feeding should be heterotrophic. We move to question number 2. So we have the diagrams below are illustration of experimental setups labeled A, B, C, and D used to investigate a biological process. Study them and answer questions 2A and 2B. So to study them is when you go through the whole drawing, you might make sense of what they are saying. You don't need to panic, because in the beginning you never knew what this is all about. So let's consider the drawing. The A says seeds and then dry cotton wool. At least we have seen seeds. Having heard about seeds, what do we do in practical with seed? Is it not germination? Then the dry cotton is telling you absence of water or moisture. Then this one is wet cotton with the same seed. That's for B. So showing presence of, because this is open, air is present, air can come into this test tube. So presence of water, moisture, air, and this is just left at normal temperature. Then this one here is still containing the seeds. The seeds are there, but boiled and cooled water. The water has been boiled and cooled later, so it's still normal. There is presence of water. Then over here is the oil, which seals off the supply of oxygen. So air is absent here. Definitely germination will not be successful in C. Germination will also not be successful in A. Germination will likely be successful in B over here. in this one. So then D finally showed us viable seeds, though not that one mentioned viable seeds. Okay, the seeds are viable, the wet cotton wool, water is present, air is also present because this is not sealed off, air is going in. Then ice cubes shows extremely low temperatures, so there might not be germination in D because of these ice cubes lowering the temperature. So this experiment setup is actually to study the factors or conditions necessary for germination of seed to occur. State the aim of the experiment: to study the conditions necessary for germination. The aim of the experiment is to do what? To investigate the conditions necessary for germination. Necessary for germination to occur. Okay, so to investigate, according to them, they said illustration of experiment steps up to investigate because they use investigate. So it's better you use also investigate in your answer. To investigate the conditions necessary for germination. So we go on. Have this. Okay. We are following up this question 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, little thing. The crocodile. I want to write the class crocodilians, but you have to mention the organism. So over here, please, should be the crocodile. So right, crocodile. Even the alligators are there. Okay, we'll move on. The next page. We'll be combining these two pages. The other one says complete the table below using setups A, B, C, and D. So we have setup A, observation, reason for observation, conclusion. I think I'll do the little part of the talking. Now we have in A, what will be observed is that there will be no germination. Reason for observation: because of absence of moisture or water, germination cannot occur in dry medium, totally dry. Conclusion: moisture is necessary for germination. Moisture or water is necessary. Then B, there will be germination. Reason: because all the factors necessary are present. So a conclusion: water, air, viability of the seed, and then optimum temperature are necessary for germination to occur. Then C, looking at C, there won't be germination. Reason: absence of oxygen or air. Conclusion: oxygen or air is necessary for germination to occur. Then outline the process of germination in cowpea seedling. So this time around, let me fill the table, believing we have grabbed the points there. So setup A, observation: there will not be germination, or the seeds will not germinate, or you say seeds will not germinate. Anyone is accepted. Seeds will not germinate. Reason: absence of moisture stroke water. Moisture is needed for germination to occur. Then B, the seeds will germinate. Will germinate. Reason: all the conditions necessary are present. Presence of all the conditions necessary for germination. Conclusion: air, water, moisture, and optimum temperature present is necessary. Optimum temperature are necessary for germination. Then C, seeds will not germinate. The seeds will not germinate. Reason: for the observation, presence of oil to seal off air supply. So oil seals off oxygen supply. Conclusion: seeds cannot germinate in the absence of air or oxygen. Then D, the seeds will not also germinate. Seeds, there won't be germination. Reason for the observation: abnormal temperature, absence of optimum temperature. Optimum temperature. Conclusion: germination occur only at optimum temperature. Necessary for germination. Okay, scroll. They say outline the process of germination in a cowpea seedling. Cowpea seedling. First, what type of germination is observed in a cowpea? Cowpea should be a dicot, of course, and then it should undergo what we call epigeal germination. Yeah, so the type of germination is going to be epigeal germination. So for you to explain this, you say that the hypocotyl will grow faster in the presence of water or moisture, air, and optimum optimum temperature, viable, because viability of the seed is necessary, viable cowpea will undergo epigeal germination. So that is the hypocotyl will grow faster than the epicotyl to push the cotyledon put the cotyledons above the soil surface.
Hi, I wanted to tell you that you can contact Majestic for your laboratory equipment and reagents. They are affordable and provide accurate results too. Majestic only sells what he knows, and his patterns of delivery are sure and certain. Place your orders today. Thanks for your patronage.
Then, name the type of germination that will be observed in cowpea seedling. Epigeal germination. Give one reason for the answer in 2DI, because it's dicotyledon. Cowpea is a dicotyledonous. It's a dicotyledon. A dicotyledonous seed. So cowpea is a dicot. Can just say that one go. So epigeal is common among the dicots. Hypogeal is common among the monocots. Then we say name two food substances present in cowpea seedling. Two food substances present in cowpea seedling. That one should be protein, have to be there, and then small amount of carbohydrates will be there also, but mainly protein. Okay, and we go to the next page. The next page says list the three parts of a germinating cowpea seedling. I think you need to lift yeah, this will be extremely helpful. This should be the germinating cowpea. All we have been answering. Over here they now say to label. Remember, in this case we have the parts. Here below the cotyledon, or first of all, these two seed leaves, one is now called cotyledon. Same thing here, that's the cotyledon. While the part of the seedling below the cotyledon is called hypocotyl. Hypo means below. Hypo, anything below normal. Hypotension, low blood pressure. So hypertension, high. So this should be hypocotyl, meaning below cotyledon. Then the part that is above this cotyledon, like here we are seeing the primary leaf, should now be seen as the epicotyle. So these are the three main parts of germinating cowpea, while from here down here should be seen as the seedling itself, germinating seedling. Okay, so we move on. I've answered the question. I've answered this one already. That's the epicotyle, hypocotyle, and cotyledon. You can also say primary leaves. Then over here, number 3 say the diagram below is an illustration of organisms in a habitat. Study it and answer questions 3A to 3C. Okay, as you can see, we are observing. You have to see that these are plants, these are animal, fish, and this fish is, the mouth is open, showing is eating this, while this is eating the kind of the plankton. So this is the planktons, the little ones, very tiny living organisms, which is fed by the smaller fish, and here is showing the bigger fish, which might be shark. So we have our producers and consumers, and you can see the sun, which is the source of energy to the ecosystem. The energy inside this water body all come from this sun that enables this green plant photosynthesize, and when the green plant photosynthesize, they captivate the energy in the sun so that energy will be available for every other living organism, heterotrophic organisms in this water body. So these analyses are what will help us to answer the questions, because they told us to study it, and I have helped you study it. And therefore, remember, this is a kind of showing us the layering, the vertical layering in the ocean basin here also, just in case they ask from that field. Okay. Name the habitat. Simply put, we might not go saying it's marine or freshwater. Our job is just to say aquatic habitat, to stay on the safer side, because there is no feature specifying it to be freshwater or saltwater. Then name the trophic level occupied by each of the organism. I to IV. Yeah, organism I are green plants, so they are the producers. They are the primary producers, of course. The trophic level for II is that there should be the primary consumers also, or the secondary producers. Remember, primary consumers means secondary producers. Then III should stand as the secondary consumers, which are tertiary producers. Secondary consumers. Then the IV should be the tertiary consumers. Okay, we move to the next page. Construct a food chain using the organisms labeled in diagram. This is simple, just in their order. If there is any food chain, you see I is consumed by, so I should be actually the phytoplankton or the plankton themselves. We don't know, but we will establish it using I, because there is no connection showing that of I. Did they say using the whole organism? To be on the safer side, let us simply say in that order there is no link that I is eaten by I. Yes, so these two I to IV. That's what should be obtained in that case. Okay, then what is the role of the sun in the habitat? The role of the sun is that it's the source. The sun is the source of energy to the habitat. It enables the green plants convert. It helps the green plants in photosynthesis. Let's put it that way. It helps organisms I in photosynthesis, which captivates the energy in the sun and fixes it into the ecosystem. It helps it in photosynthesis, through which energy is fixed, through which energy in the sun is converted to chemical energy in form of food manufactured. If the organisms labeled I are absent, what will be the effect on the habitat? There will not be source of food. So without the sunlight, the primary producers wouldn't do well, and when primary producers are not doing well, obviously there will be no life. So if the organism labeled I are absent, what will be the effect on the habitat? There will be no primary producers. There will be no other organisms like the organism I, and IV, because organisms I are responsible for fixing energy into the ecosystem. Into the habitat, or you say other living organisms in the habitat will not exist. Yes, because they all depend on the organism I. It's only I that can captivate the energy in the sun. Okay, name 2 biotic components in the habitat. At least we can see the sun. Yes, because it's stratified. We also see the temperature is there. And okay, they say biotic and I'm using abiotic. Please, biotic is for living component. So the biotic component there, at least we can see the primary producers, which are actually the green plants. indicate green plants. And then we also saw the consumers, which is either the organism II, III, or IV. Or one can say the fish. The fishes, because there are different species there, you can put S. Abiotic component should be the sun. Then we also talk about, definitely because the sun is there, temperature will be there. Name the mode of nutrition in each of the organisms. I. So I is photosynthetic, or what we call holophytic nutrition. Holophytic nutrition. Or you can just say autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. I of course, should be probably filter feeders, because they are the planktons. And then they are not the filter feeders, they are just heterotrophs. I can also, they are all still heterotrophs, or they can act as filter feeders because they are feeding on the plankton. Then the other one shown should be carnivorous, of course. Heterotrophic stroke carnivorous fish, because the arrow is showing is a bigger fish consuming the smaller fish. So we go to the last page, which is page 7. This one says states adaptive features of the organism labeled I to their mode of life. So what are the adaptive features to the mode of life? We have to remind ourselves that organism I are the green plants. So what are the adaptive features? So presence of green leaves for photosynthesis, or presence of chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Then it also have emergent leaf for effective photosynthesis. Then poor root development. The roots are not well developed because it's aquatic. So over here we'll answer presence of chlorophyll for photosynthesis, and presence of floating leaves is another thing. Presence of floating leaves. Presence of emergent leaf. Which because the surface of the water reflects light, so these emergent leaf are just those ones right on the top of water. The reflected light and the ones shining direct, it captures it. So that's it. Then poor root development to avoid absorbing too much moisture, too much water. And then absence of thick corticals, so that there will be increased rates of transpiration. Remember, they are hydrophytes and they suffer from excess water. Name the part labeled V. Which parts? Maybe you need to go back. That should be the floor. the ocean floor. It should be the ground floor. Okay, looking at this V, it can be ocean floor or the sea floor or the benthic zone, because we have the aphotic zone, the photic zone where water light penetrates is the photic, the dark zone is actually the aphotic. Then the floor should be the benthic zone. We have other zones, littoral zone, but it's not required we talk about them here. So to maximize the mark here, just say the bottom, the floor, or say the water floor or ocean floor, or you can say the benthic zone. The benthic zone. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, this is Majestic Easy World. Please don't forget to subscribe and share. Much love from me to you. Bye for now.
Wait a minute. Have you heard about the Majestic table? It was designed and recommended by Sir Majesty himself. Here it is. The amazing thing about the Majestic periodic table is that it provides a clear and colorful classification of elements, from P block metals to metalloids to liquid metals. It also shows the boiling and melting points of all the elements. It also has the unique feeling of electrons in the shells of each element.
To enhance the easy learning and teaching of chemistry in schools, in universities, secondary schools, in research institutes. So this Majestic periodic table, demand and special demand, as you can see that space there highlighted, that is where you can include the name of your school, or if you are dedicating it to anybody, you can write there, because you can print it to any size you like. What made me to design this is that I discovered that these tables I see in the internet, the one I see in the market, they are not as informative as I want. And then some of them are not updated. Some still retain the fact that we have, there are like, some still see promentum as not being radioactive. Some might see them as artificial element, but it is still is a naturally occurring element, of course. So there are some modifications that this table has been made to include, and that makes it majestic.
This is super majestic.
Much love.